the AAC tools, by being visual and potentially auditory, throw into the mix perhaps for our sensory learners, smells, music.
Okay.
All these things are forms of AAC that are assisting somebody to make better sense of where they're at in time and place, and then to use those AAC tools to then think and then share something back out and contribute. And as I said earlier, actively participate in those conversations in the classroom, those conversations in the corridor, those interactions when you get home, and so forth. At this moment in time, how are they actually truly actively participating in their own life? Because then that feeds into authorship and being authentic, and truly being who you are, releasing and unlocking who you truly are today, but also where you want to go next in life. My quest has been about thinking about what someone's skills are, what matters to them, what lights them up first and foremost, and then potentially where the gaps are, because we want to close that gap and we want to give them the tools to be able to more actively participate in their life. But it dawned on me that I haven't been talking about that active participation enough, so I've been more thinking about perhaps communication partner and potentially the person using different types of communication AAC tools to kind of do things. And when I truly ask myself that question, and with good meaning, people will want to support, teaching assistants, teachers, family members, carers. We all want to help a person to extend and enhance their abilities. We want that. But sometimes, with good meaning, others can still do things for that person. So clinical term, I might say, like, they might scaffold that person's learning. What we actually want is that person to be more independent. Now, we know that actually not everybody can lead a fully independent life. And in many respects, nobody's fully independent. We're more interdependent, aren't we? So that comes back again to thinking about truly, and I think this is one of my big clinical questions that I always ask myself, and I encourage our AT specialists to be thinking about this when they meet AAC users or people new to AAC, is truly, and we could all ask ourselves this, how active is this person or these people truly participating in their own life? Are they truly initiating, responding, and interjecting? And if you ask that question, you are able to answer it based on that very initiation, interjection, and responding. And if people are perhaps not so actively participating at these stages, or one of them or all of them, then that feeds solutions and ideas. And again, that's where AAC can be made even more bespoke for that person, because as you said, one size fits one. We can work with two children, both perhaps with a diagnosis of cerebral palsy, both potentially are able to speak, but speech intelligibility is tricky at times, perhaps when they're tired or really excited about something, and that intelligibility gets a bit trickier for that less familiar listener, right? But actually what they need in terms of the tools could be very, very different, because it just depends on what matters to them, what stage they're at in an activity, because we all, even within a class setting, for example, our learners are on a spectrum. Some are ready to move on, some need a little bit more attention to a particular subject. So then it feeds back into one size fits one, and therefore the AAC tools really need to reflect that individual person, what's going on for them personally. And what this demonstrates to me is that sometimes there is this pressure for lots of different reasons, as I said, to get straight up to this point. But you'll notice, wow, so much powerful stuff underneath. And, we all know the kind of mechanics of building blocks and creating something with a stable base. You need a good solid foundation. So much the same way I talked about communication earlier, and actually speaking is actually, when it comes to communication, speaking is about 35% of overall communication, right? And underneath that, we need to be thinking about attention skills, listening if the person is able to hear, and then moving up into comprehension and then expression, and then maybe speaking if that matters to that person, if they're able to, or they have an alternative tool. So when we think about this pyramid, again, the foundation is key. And I think we need to be focusing much more on what's going on underneath. And even as a speech and language therapist, regulation, I would say, trumps language and communication, because if someone within themselves isn't feeling quite right, you touched on transitions earlier, whether those transitions are from car to house, house to school, school to secondary school, college, job, going out and about, pop into the supermarket, all of these things will influence how someone regulates and how someone feels within themselves. So it's really important that I think we start to try to support more people to take the pressure off and really consider that person's whole holistic profile, the depths and layers, much like we're deep diving into AAC right now. We need to deep dive into everybody as human. And we're made up of so many different layers, and therefore appropriate AAC tools need to embrace and support all of these different layers that we see in that attainment, that kind of pyramid of learning.